Hey guys, how's it going? Happy New Year. Hope everyone's doing well. This is a review of the Moondrop variation. I'm going to quickly go through it and see what some of the accessories are. So yeah, here we go. This is just the case. And then here's the tips it comes with. I use the small ones, so yeah. There's not much other than that in the box. It just comes in with the shells and then the cable and then tweezers and then filters. So yeah, not much else there. This is the IEM itself. It has a very good frosted look to it. Great build quality. I didn't like the Oracle that much because I felt like the bass driver was lacking and it didn't have the proper quality to it. But yeah, these are really good. Yeah, so good build. Everything seems durable. It has some weight to it, so it does feel like it has some quality. Yeah, and I feel like having a little weight to it lets everything sound better because it just sounds more tight and precise. It's my opinion. But yeah, so here's the cable. Again, it feels like a custom cable that costs 50 or $100, so really good, no issues. Yeah, so that's about it for that. So let's start off with the fit. These are pretty heavy and big, but the fit is absolutely perfect. It does mold to the shape of your ear, so you get a good fit. Yeah, so the driver configuration on these, I believe, is 2 EST, 2 BA, and 1 DD, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah. So before I get started, I do think these sound better than the Oracle because they have more resolution in the bass and the treble. Yeah, so Oracle only did the mid-range really good, and I feel like it does it a little bit better than this because the mid-range has a certain pop to it, where on these it's thin. So yeah, let's start off with the bass. The bass is really good. It goes really deep, something you would hear in probably a more expensive pair. It has a good sub bass, so when you're listening to something that doesn't need bass, it's not gonna really pop up, which is really good. So yeah, really good bass. I would say it's a little elevated, but not by too much. Just you get enough of it when the song calls for it. And yeah, it's very clean sounding. That's how I would describe this pair. Just sounds really clean, and everything has a definition to it. But yeah, other than that, not much. But sub bass is really, really good. So if you listen to hip hop, rap, or any of that, it's gonna come across really, really clean, like effortless. Not forced upon you or anything, just really clean. So yeah, the bass is really good quality. It's probably the second best I've ever heard, other than the U12T, which I reviewed. So up to everything I reviewed so far, this is probably the second best pair, other than the U12T. Yeah, so it's that good. The bass is really clean. There's nothing that gets in the way of the mid-range or any of that stuff. Really good. So to get an ESC pair, it already costs more, so might as well get something good. So nowadays, a lot of stuff is good. So yeah, the bass is really good. I would consider it special because I haven't heard any IEM sound like that. So yeah, really good. On to the mids. This is where there's a slight issue for me because it does sound a little thin. So like any vocalist, you're not gonna get the perfect lower mid-range that you're looking for, even compared to cheaper pairs. But I think there's a reason they did that, so I'm gonna get into that later. So yeah, the mid-range is really good, clean, no BA timbre, has a lot of life to it. Just sounds realistic. Like for a pair like this to sound like that, I mean, it's kind of crazy. So yeah, really good mid-range, good instruments, like amazing instruments, not too close up, so everything has its spot, really wide, not overemphasized. So yeah, really, really good mid-range. Just a hair behind the Oracle in terms of vocal, but other than that, it's absolutely like there, like just a few percentages behind the Oracle, which is fine because I feel like the bass is way better on these than the Oracle. It just has more definition, more resolution. So yeah, so the bass, I mean, the bass does have better resolution, but the mid range, I would say, yeah, the Oracle's a hair better. Yeah, tonality wise, the mid range is really good still. I just wish there was a little more body to the vocals, I guess. That makes sense. Compared to other IEMs I've tried. Yeah, now on to the highs. I would say the highs are spectacular in this IEM. Again, it beats out the Oracle. So this beats out the Oracle in bass and treble. So that's something you could take into consideration if you're making the purchase. Really, really clean. It extends all the way, like perfectly, like even a little more than I would, but it doesn't bother me because it sounds so good. So yeah, no issues with the treble. It comes across effortlessly, and I think that Sony on Tweeter definitely makes a difference. You could hear it in the timbre and the way it extends up, like very clean. So for me, the The Audio Oracle didn't sound clean in the treble or the bass, so it was kind of off after listening to it for a while. But this takes care of all of that. Like the bass and the treble are absolutely spot on. The treble, I don't think it's super emphasized. It sounds about right. Like if you listen to a track that was mastered with less of a emphasis on the treble or mids, you're gonna hear that. You're not gonna hear that much treble or mid. So it's very well done. So how would I explain this? So I would say this has a better resolution than the Oracle, where the Oracle just sounds better in the mid range. That's its main point, in my opinion. Yeah. So no timbre issues. I would say this is slightly better than the Oracle because it has better bass and treble. But I guess it depends on your preference at that point, what you like. But I would go for these because it just sounds more like a $500 IEM than the Oracle, which sounds like a $400 IEM maybe, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's that. Onto the soundstage and imaging. This is where this blows it out the water. Like everything is so right left. Like I explained in my the review of the Oracle, everything had decent right left, where this takes it to a whole new level. I feel like it does that because of the slightly thin mid-range, so the vocals aren't as close to your ear or emphasized as much, so everything just has a spacious characteristic. Like it pops so different. Like this has like a special tonality, basically, where everything has its space, where you don't hear that, and even if you spend a couple grand, you don't hear that sometimes. So that's really, really good. Amazing instruments, separation. Things pop from different areas very well. Way better than the Oracle in terms of soundstage and imaging. Again, in my opinion. Like, I would say it's 20 or 30% better in that regard because it sounds so unique. Like, and better. So that just adds another character. And they cost about the same, so I would say you should try both out, but this has a better fit. So this basically has everything going for it, other than the thin mid-range, which I can live with. So yeah, soundstage and imaging, absolutely stellar. And I've never heard anything that sounds that good in this price range. Very tight bass, clean mid-range, amazing instrument separation. Like this works for all genres. Amazing for hip hop, pop, rap, vocal music. Very clean sounding, if I had to describe it. I'm gonna keep saying that because I feel like this is run by one driver, where even the Oracle didn't feel like that. But yeah, Moondrop is absolutely killing it. And yeah, so you guys will definitely like this IEM, and you should give it a try. Good fit, good cable, everything. It seems like they put the development into it to make it a good IEM. So yeah, it's really good, and check it out. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video.